When Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay summited Mount Everest on May 29, 1953, the peak was a symbol of human achievement. Today, Everest symbolizes the worst of adventure capitalism. There's a human traffic jam on the way to the peak. As they queue up, they may step on human waste, plastics, and even bodies. Everest has become the world's highest garbage dump.
The North Col or the South Col and the highest camps on the north side, they're the worst place because there's two issues there. One is that when you get to that level, that's called the death zone, where your body is slowly dying. And so you just simply don't have the same energy. And people get lazy and they become irresponsible by just throwing stuff away and defecating just on the ground. The other problem is because it's so cold that you don't have microorganisms that can survive at that altitude and that harsh temperature. So there's no biological way for all of the human waste to be broken down like we have at sea level. And so as a result, when you go to the bathroom at the North Col or the South Col, it stays there until it gets blown away, and blown away just means it gets moved to a different part of the mountain. It really never goes away. But definitely the highest areas, that's the biggest problem.
Food and equipment for the trekkers is carried on horses, mules, and yaks. Equipment, food, packaging, animals, and porters at the base camp mean a lot of garbage. Climbers aiming for the summit spend at least 2 months at the base camp to acclimatize. Now, the increasing number of trekkers and the number of days that they spend here is added to the trash.
तो 2011 में जब मैं गई थी तो वहाँ पे बेस कैम्प में जो है मुझे याद है शुरू से वहाँ से बहुत सारे लेडर्स लगे हुए थे। ग्लेशियर जो था वो बहुत हार्ड थे और गंदगी जो थे वो भी इतना मुझे दिखाई नहीं दिया, बहुत कम। और जब 17 में मैं जब गया था तो मतलब आई रियली फेल्ट, मुझे बहुत दुख हुआ वहाँ की जो कंडीशन देख के। तो चारों तरफ सारा मतलब डेब्रिस पड़े हुए वहाँ पे, ग्लेशियर भी जो है वो बहुत फास्ट मेल्ट हो रहे हैं।
Every year you are fixing a rope which is going from the base camp to the summit of Everest. Not one rope, multiple ropes. And the number of ropes, when you fix a rope, that means you are actually taking pegs and various kinds of devices to fix it on the mountain, on the ice, on the snow, on the rocks. And these ropes are left, so everybody uses this rope and they come down. After winter and all the storm and everything, these ropes would have deteriorated. And each year you have to put in fresh ropes. Now what happens if somebody uses the wrong rope? And this incident happened, by the way, in another 8,000 meter peak, which is Annapurna, where one of our Indian climbers, he mistook an old rope, and he went down a very deep glacier where he was found after 2 days or 3 days in fact. So Anurag Mallu is his name.
When we climbed in 1984, the entire mountain, we had 2 teams, the Indian team and we had a Bulgarian team. So we were just 2 teams in the mountain. So in our team we were 20 members and we had about 20 Sherpas. And we would ferry our road and go up and come down the mountain. There was no traffic jam anywhere. We had opened our own route in the icefall. We had ladders. So we would check the ice fall and walk through the ice fall. So there was no such thing as waiting in the queue.
See, when it comes to the government of Nepal, and they are looking at the economic benefits. It's the economic benefits to the country. It is an economic benefit to the people who live in the Khumbu region. 75 years back, it was a very backward area. But the commercialization has brought a lot of economic benefit. The people in that region, the Sherpas, have become much better. They have much better lives now. So why should the government sort of kill the golden goose?
There are companies out there that will advertise Mount Everest for $35,000, and they say no experience required. We'll teach you everything you need to know on the mountain. And there are people that will read that on the internet and they'll believe it. And the problem is they don't have the experience to understand that they need the experience. So they don't know what they don't know. And that's a big problem.
मैं चाहता हूँ 30 to 35 लोग तक हम आराम से कम वैल्यूम में अच्छा सर्विस देके उनका सक्सेस कराने का मैं सोच रहा हूँ.
So if you see the pictures of the summits now, you will see 100, 200, 300 people all lined up in a row. It is not the way to climb a mountain, because I might be faster in my speed, but because I am walking in a single file, I have to keep waiting. So my oxygen consumption is more, and then fatigueness, the heat, because and if somebody in between is slow, he slows down everybody. So these things are not good, especially if the weather turns bad.
There were 3 people from Calcutta who died on one expedition. It was all because of the huge, you can say, traffic jam on Everest. So there are lots and lots of stories, lot of fatalities happening because of this, of the traffic jam, and also because people are not helping each other.
In my mind, you can wrap it up into two phrases: inexperienced climber with an unqualified guide. And those two is a toxic combination, and that's led to many of the deaths in 2019 across all the 8,000 meter mountains. There were 19 deaths across all the Nepal's 8,000 meter mountains in 2019. And then, like I said before, there were 18 deaths just on Everest last year. And many of those people who died were unqualified to be there. I would guess there's maybe 150 bodies on both sides of Everest, the Tibet side and the Nepal side. Most of those bodies, when the accident occurs, when the death occurs, then a teammate or someone else will move that body off of the trail, and in many times they will move them out of sight. So you really don't see the bodies. Now,
so very untrained, unqualified people are going to climb Everest, and a lot of people are dying because of that. And it's not only dying, but they are going on commercial expeditions, and these commercial expeditions, the only interest is to put their client on top of the mountain. So these are not mountaineers. Mountaineers by nature are concerned about the mountains. They do everything possible to keep the mountains clean and protect the mountains environmentally. But a tourist who is going there basically to get his image on an Instagram post is not concerned about what is going on. So that is the big concern, and they are causing a lot of damage, not only to this mountain, not only to Everest, but to several other mountains all over the world.
China, on the other hand, It limits the number of people, the number of permits to 300 on their side, and they require, if you're a Chinese national, that you've climbed an 8,000 meter mountain, and if you're a foreigner, in other words, non-Chinese, you must have climbed a 7,000 meter. So they have a limit on the number of permits and an experience requirement before you can go as a foreigner to climb Everest on the Chinese, the Tibetan side.
Anybody who is concerned about mountain environment should find or help the Nepalese government in finding other ways of generating revenue rather than pushing every traveler in the direction of Everest.
Yes, there's a standard process called leave no trace, and so you do not leave anything on the mountain. You take a piece of candy, you don't throw that wrapper away, you put it in your pocket and you take it back to a village where it can be disposed of properly. That's what it comes down to. It's for each person to take responsibility to take care of our planet and to take care of each other and to do it in a professional and in a responsible way.